Hi, Tom here. Welcome back to the channel. In this, I'm going to show you how to deploy a Django app, an instant messenger app with real-time events fully to production, including setting up a production database, deploying with CI, the whole thing. We'll be using Render, and we'll be following the previous guide that I did, which is video here, on how to build an instant messaging app. You can either do that tutorial or just pull down the code from the endpoint of that tutorial, which I'll link in the written guide in the description below. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, let's get going. So here is the written guide, and there are two approaches here to do it. It's either do the previous guide already, which is here, to build the instant messaging app with Django, or we'll just start with the code from the previous guide, which is the faster way. So I'm going to go for the faster way here, and we will git clone from this repo that I created with the output code from the previous tutorial. So let's get into it. And so I'm here in my repo, I've created a virtual environment, and then I'm going to git clone here, cloning in. I should see it pop up here. Great, and then I'll cd into it, cd into instant messenger, and then install the requirements here into my virtual environment with, and I'll pip install, here they all come. And then finally run the migrations and then run our server with entering those in. Migrations have run, and now our server is run. Let's just check that works. Yay, great. Okay, now section 1, we want to add, when we're deploying, we want to have some settings which run in development and some settings which run in production. This is good practice to do. So we're going to distinguish between them. We want to install the extra packages. These are just all the packages, so let's just install them all here. As you can see, some of them already satisfied, and then installed some others. Good. And now we want to create the base settings. So we're going to have our base settings, which will be shared by all the environments, and then development settings, which run in development environment, and then production settings, which only run our production app. So we're going to copy this, go down, these are our base settings, copy this, and then create a new folder called settings in core. So core, a new folder. Settings, and then in there create the file called base settings, Python file, and paste that in, what we've just done there. So base settings into there. And now we're going to create our development settings. So we'll create another file called development settings, but let's just copy this first. You can see these are just going to run in our development environment. So go into settings here, and then new file, development settings, paste, and you can see it inherits everything from base settings here and then has the development specific stuff. Okay, and so we're going to then run this. Whenever we run our server in development again, we're going to run this command to then point settings file. What we need to do as well, which I will add to the guide here, is we need to delete our existing settings file here. Otherwise the reference will be off. So we need to delete that from the previous, which we used in the previous guide. Now it's gone, and now core.settings.development will go core settings, development settings. And now run. If you get this sort of error, no module named core settings, you probably haven't deleted it. Okay, now we run again. Python manage apply settings.core. And it runs. Great. Yeah, it looks good. As you can see, you should see Daphne running there. Now let's move on to create our production settings, which will only run in production. So same procedure, go to settings and then production settings. .py, and then copy this in, which will just run in production. And as you can see here, we're getting a secret key, which we'll get from the environment variable that we'll set later on the server. We're getting our production database URL, which we'll set later as our environment variable on our server. Section 2, we're now going to deploy our Django production database. So we're going to create a production Postgres database on Render. So create an account, then we're going to go to the new button, and then you go and click Postgres URL, and then you'll get to this page, and then enter in a unique name. I've put instant messenger, doesn't really matter. I'm in Germany, so I put Frankfurt, and then choose free or standard and so on if you want, and then click create database. This is our database. After a few minutes, you'll get your database here. This is instant messenger DB. Yep, and then we need to go down and get our external database URL. This is akin to our password and location and login details for the database, so keep it relatively safe. So now we want to deploy our production Django app. We've created different settings to distinguish between the environments. We've created a database. Now we want to actually deploy the app online on a server. So we want to, let's use pip freeze requirements.txt. This will create a requirements file, there you go, with all the requirements that we're using, which the server will then install when we run it. Now create a simple build script for Render to run when deploying. Copy this, and then create at our root level, which is here. We'll create a file called build.sh, paste this in. Now we're going to push our code to a GitHub repo. Render will then auto-deploy the code whenever we push to our master branch. I've done this already. If you need any help doing that, follow the GitHub docs. It's very easy to do. So now I'm on my GitHub page. I've uploaded that repo that we've just been working on, and now I'm ready to deploy it with Render. So now let's go back and we'll create a new service, and we want to create a web service and build and deploy from a Git repo, and then choose, for me it's Photon Designer deploy instant messenger. So enter in a name, instant messenger, it's fine. Choose your region, local is faster for wherever you are, and then leave all of this, and then build command we want to specify to run our build script. So run here and then copy build.sh, so that will run our build script. The start command we also need to specify so that we run Daphne to enable asynchronous operations. And so go here, copy that, paste that in, Daphne, and then the ports, and then our ASGI. Choose your tier, I'll go free, that's fine for the moment. And now we want to enter our environment variables to connect the settings together. The things we need to do are here, 3 environment variables. We need to point to our production settings, so Django settings module, and then core set.settings.production settings there. Then we want to add another one for the database URL to connect our database up to our production settings. And now we go back to our external database URL that I mentioned earlier here, and copy that, paste that in, enter in secret key, and now we want to generate one so it's random, and copy this script, and then you can run it in your terminal, and that's our secret key, and then just copy that over and paste that in there, secret key. And that's pretty much it. Now let's create our web service. Let's visit our app. You can see the in production settings are set because that's in production. Then if we go up and visit our app, here is the login, and then let's enter my name, Tom. Welcome, Tom. Enter a message. Hello, printed, and now let's open that in a separate, and let's enter as Alicia. There's a message from Tom, and if I go here, let's rock and roll. Awesome. That's your Django Messenger app with real-time updates deployed easily online. There we are. You've got a fully working app that's online that anyone in the world can access, and with real-time events sent from the server. But the app is missing a few things. There's no authentication, no way to log in or have any user personalization. There's no way for anyone to pay, assuming you want to make this a paid product. And also we could do more with the real-time app. I'd like something like a little game, maybe a tic-tac-toe or chess that users can play, or quiz game. If you're interested in those, let me know and I can add a future video to add some of those features. There's a link below to my mailing list for free Django content and updates on my product Photon Designer, which allows you to build Django front end visually and much faster. Besides that, I'm producing more Django content every week. Here are a few more videos. All the best to you.